Yeah.
I like the Jaws one was better.
No, this is better.
So, folks, welcome to Gasta. What number are we?
006. So hashtag Gasta 006. So we'll be looking forward to 007.
Ooh, when's that going to be?
Teaching council, possibly. I don't know.
Teaching council. They're too boring for 007.
Well, if somebody wants to invite me, the next Gasta will be Gasta 007. So, and that's not until October. So you have from now till October.
Is there no Canadian Gasta happening?
Huh?
You're not doing any Gasta when you're in Canada?
I could do one there as
You
well.
could do one. That could be 007, yeah.
That could be 007, actually.
Tom is fierce fancy. He's like going as a visiting scholar to Canada.
Visiting research fellow.
Oh, sorry. Very fancy.
Yeah, so
Okay, let's get going. Over to you, Tom. I'm not going to bother introducing you. I think you need no introduction. So over to Tom Farrelly. Gasta.
Hello, 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 hello. Welcome this afternoon. And fair play, you've already forsaken the other 8 rubbish sets of presentations here. Because for this, if you have a good product, you have to sell it. We have a couple of newbies here now, so I want you to make them feel very nervous. And so, are you all ready? So, as I said, just to remind everybody, you'll be counted in when we shout Gasta. The 5 minutes begins. I will then stand up when there's 10 seconds to go. There's none of this 1 minute warning, just 10 seconds. This crowd here wants you to go overtime because they're going to go count you down and shout out stud. So, excellent. Right. I'm sufficiently reborn.
Should be in Spanish now.
Oh. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. Let's go take a while. No. Okay.
Uno.
Everybody. There's someone up the back there. The rest of you put your hands down. Oh, yeah, okay, we'll put them up there. Are we ready? A hay, a doe, a tree, a car, a cooing, Gasta.
Oh my, no way I can beat out this amazing introduction in 5 minutes. So, welcome everyone, I'm Gizéh Rangel, and together with Josep Duart, I'm going to talk about creating a didactic experience focused on designing and organizing flexible learning spaces using virtual reality resources. So basically what we are proposing here is that, as you all know, open and online universities such as Open University of Catalunya offer flexible and innovative educational options that expands the possibility for many students. But in recent years, also, extended reality technologies are becoming an effective tool for improving educational practice and personalized learning. So in this sense, what we all know right now as extended reality is that progressively extended reality tools has become a source of attraction for many scholars. And when we're talking about the term of extended reality, it's broad and it encompasses different technologies such as we know, augmented reality, virtual reality, 300 degrees videos, and mixed reality. And also knowing their features is essential when we're trying to identify the resources that we want to use and are best fitting for our research objectives. So when we're talking about these extended reality tools, it's because they offer the possibility of integrated environments that in first case, they can combine physical scenarios with virtual ones, and in second case, also offer fully immersive virtual experiences for students. So when we're talking also about flexible spaces from an educational level, there is also a growing interest in creating flexible learning spaces in general. And unlike other more traditional spaces and settings, flexible learning spaces allow for a variety of educational methods and classroom design that also encourage adaptive pedagogical approaches. So as part of when we're talking about this design of flexible spaces, they can vary in nature and also the resources uses for their implementation. And they are here for this didactic activity. We propose using virtual reality and 2D tools to design a flexible learning classroom. we are currently working on running a pilot study, and students from the education degree who have taken a module on designing educational spaces were invited to participate in this activity. And for this didactic pilot experience, we only require students with experience using virtual reality resources and, of course, PowerPoint, which is something I will explain in the next slide. And we have gone through all the ethic necessary requirements to conduct this experimental activity. So, for the first group, for doing this didactic experience, volunteers will need to design a 3D learning flexible space using virtual reality scenario and Oculus Rift headset to provide a 300 degrees immersive view of the virtual classroom. Whereas students assigned to group number 2 will design this activity in 2D using PowerPoint. And basically we select the PowerPoint because it is a well-known and accessible tool. Then the two groups will switch so that all the participants can use both the 3D and the 2D resources. And in terms of assessment, we are planning to run a pre-test and a post-test assessment, and the results will provide a theoretical and practical knowledge in their organization and how this can impact the knowledge of students in terms of designing learning spaces in both through 2D and 3D. And when we're talking about virtual reality and education, we need to think about how challenging it is becoming and are helping to integrate and reinforce learning and teaching. Also, that we are talking about an accessible tool that can amplify experience in higher education, and also all the new challenges that can help to shape the future of online education. And to wrap it up, I just want to close with a kind of way of thinking that virtual reality resources can be as effective as we all know as non-digital ones. And when they're embedded into a sound pedagogical approach and well-defined learning objectives and guidelines, they might be a good resource to be integrated into learning practices. Thank you so much, and I have 10 seconds, so I didn't need it.
Didn't you do well? Lovely slide deck. And as I always said at every Gasta session, there's a seriousness to it. You're giving a shout out about your projects. If somebody had said something that is of interest and you want to follow up on it, please do come up and contact people.
Oh yes,
so
in the next slide you have my email if you want to. Yeah, that's it.
I see. I don't know. Did she use the 10 seconds? That was a bit of a loophole there, yeah, I think, yeah. But I tell you, we're going to have to change the rules again. Okay, so I think it's time to get moving now. We'll start off on the left-hand side this time. You ready? Get the hands up, hands up. Shake them out, come on. Get all that alcohol out of the system. Oh, sorry, that's me. A hail, a doe, a tree, a car, a cooey, Gasta.
Hi everyone, my name is David Corscadden. I'm going to talk a bit about the MicroCreds project and why we need to care about lifelong learners and why we need to add them onto the agenda in traditional universities. Why is it important? This recent statistic from the World Economics Forum says 6 in 10 workers are going to require some form of training or upskilling within the next 5 years. So that's a massive cohort of society who need to engage in some sort of formal education in a very short period of time. We in the MicroCreds project think micro-credentials are the optimum solution to address these upskilling needs in society. But the issue is micro-credentials are the square peg in an ecosystem for traditional universities. They don't quite fit in the discovery stage, in the application stage, the registration phase. What we're trying to do with the MicroCreds project is make that square peg a tiny bit more round and make it fit into a university system. For my presentation, it's very short, so I'm going to focus at the discovery phase of it and talk a bit about MicroCreds.ie. So MicroCreds.ie is a key deliverable for the MicroCreds project. It's one of our 4 key strands, and it launched on the 29th of March. I looked very young, much younger pre that time. But what we're trying to do is bring together the course offerings or the micro-credentials from 7 different universities, so 7 IUA universities, onto one central place that has been designed specifically for the learners that we're looking to engage. So it's learners who are looking at lifelong learning, and it's also looking at enterprise as well. We've really tried to embed UX research and actually the voice of learners into the build stage. Phase 1 went live a couple of weeks ago. Even phase 2, we're looking to really enhance that aspect of it. Just a bit about our UX journey across the MicroCreds project. We started off at the very beginning of the project, really trying to understand how do lifelong learners differ from traditional full-time learners in a higher education system. Then we wanted to do a deep dive on how does lifelong learning and upskilling fit into upskilling in enterprise and how do they differ from each other. When we started to build the actual platform, we kind of built on that work and we embedded UX at every stage of the platform development, from the discovery to the design to the development. We're continuing on that work now, so we've just commissioned a piece of work that's really understanding the motivation behind lifelong learners to engage with micro-credentials, and we'll start embedding that work as we go through phase 2 of the project. But I suppose, what are learners telling us from the work that we've done? They want a solution that is easy to find. There's an awful lot of noise out there in the terms of the upskilling market, so they want a solution that's easy to find. They want it in accessible language. They don't want to dive through reams and reams of university jargon to understand what they're actually going to study when they come to university. The information needs to be relevant to them, so it needs to be relevant to those people who are looking to engage in short form study. The information needs to be where they want it as well. A big thing that came across from both enterprise and learners is the rationale for investing in short form education. They're not interested in exactly what they learn, they're interested in understanding what they'll gain from spending time away from their personal lives, away from work, and actually engaging in education. So it's really about bringing forward that kind of return on investment for the learners. And it needs to be a quick, seamless process from the very beginning to the very end. If we think about lifelong learners, they're looking to engage with education in a very quick manner. The process to get enrolled needs to match that. It needs to be quick, agile. And I think what we've done with the MicroCreds.ie platform is we've started to deliver on that from the discovery point of it. So you can see a screen recording of our website. I'd encourage you to go have a look at the website. Hopefully you'll agree that we've met an awful lot of those requirements that learners are looking for. But there's an awful lot more that we can do. There's an awful lot more investment needed to upgrade the systems in very traditional universities to actually cater for lifelong learning and to really embed it on the agenda in higher education in Ireland. And that's it.
Don't clap him. Don't clap. He doesn't deserve the clap. Well done. Well done.
None of us deserve the clap.
No, the perfect one is 4 minutes and 59 seconds. You were very close with your 4:50. Now, another Spanish. I'm not even going to try and do the Spanish. But what we will do, we'll do it in reverse.
Just give it a try.
So we'll start off at...
Give it a try, it's not that hard.
Okay, 4. What's 5?
Okay, forward is like...
No, 4. What's 5? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Cinco.
Cinco.
5 is cinco.
Okay. Do you know what? We give it a go. El gordo estuche. The fat pencil case. I just learned those random words years ago.
Okay.
But Spanish is so nice, and Spanish people are so you can do all sorts of things with it. You can go, hola, el gordo estuche. Hola, el gordo estuche. It just changes the whole tone.
Yeah, yeah. Tone is everything.
Tone is everything. We'll do it in Spanish though.
Cinco, yeah.
Okay. Get the hands up. We won't do any left or right. That's complicated enough. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. Gasta.
Hello, everyone. My name is ISABEL MANSILLA, and I come from the European University Miguel de Cervantes in Valladolid, Spain. It's just northwest of Madrid. And my topic today is formative assessment. And the problem is that I'm going to apply that to English as a second language students. So the problem basically is that they don't know the tool in which they're supposed to be assessing their own advance or others, like peer assessment and so on. So basically, formative assessment is a real problem when we try to apply it on students who are trying to learn a second language. But because of technology and, in the past few years, technology has greatly advanced, we can tackle that problem. And basically what we have done in my subjects this past academic year has been using the LMS platform Mould to try to solve this problem. As our students didn't have enough English to assess themselves or assess others, we used two elements together. First, audio feedback from the teacher's perspective, plus a self-assessment rubric. So the result was a new learning environment, which I think was very interesting for us, for both of us. So basically, you have to understand that our students, or my students, were first-year students, and normally they go to school to learn to write and to read, but they go to life to learn how to speak and how to listen. So it is very difficult when you're trying to learn a second language to try to apply those other things, to listen and to speak, when you're not being tested on that. In fact, in Spain, if you want to access the university, the A-levels, as we could say, you don't have an oral performance assessment. So you just go through an assessment of grammar, and that's about it. And that is the final grade on English as a second language. So you haven't been tested on oral skills, and you don't listen to English so often. So basically, when we try to mark students' essays, etc., we have a problem because their only interest is the grade. What am I going to get? How can I improve my grade? And learning is just out of the question. Basically, we feel that, okay, grades are important because they have consequences, but learning is even more important. But they're used to summative assessment, end-of-unit tests, and that paradigm is very difficult to overcome because that's what they've been doing in high school. And we have to teach them, in a way, when they access the university, to make them become independent learners, okay? So that is our challenge, that feedback should be significant to our students, and sometimes they get that feedback in red ink and they feel overwhelmed because there are problems with their syntax, with their vocabulary choice, with their grammar, and so on and so forth. And the whole package is terrifying. So it becomes very ineffective. I've been teaching English for 30 years, and I have observed that paralysis of my students because they don't know where to start. So the idea was to give feedback, but this feedback should be oral, 100%. That's what we have tried all this past academic year. So we were trying to adapt to students' needs, and we made that self-assessment rubric, including learning objectives, and at the same time, we organized that all the feedback given would be oral on my behalf as a teacher. So on the one hand, we get teachers forced to prove and to provide meaningful feedback, and the learning process for the students hopefully would be easier. So the idea of using oral feedback
Pain, dough,
is
tree,
just great
car,
because
gooey,
it
stop.
enhances the learning process. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, just in case somebody's thinking, do 2 people get 10 minutes? No. You may get even less. I know you won't do that. Oh, I think you're all sufficiently warmed up. We're going to begin standing up and down now. You've got to clear your decks. Are we ready? We're going to go up on the hain, down on the dough. Are we ready? Get the hands up. A hain. No. By watching people, this is, look, we all talk about wellness and well-being. I'm considering your wellness and your well-being.
Oh, we stand up.
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Yes. We try that one again. On the up, on the hain. A hain. A doe. A tree. A cat. A cooey. Gasta.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are a global campus from the Digital Teaching and Continuous Learning Unit at the University of Helsinki, Finland. My name is Mohsen Saadatmand.
And I'm Ulla Hemminki-Reijonen. So, Global Campus Initiative was launched as a response to the demands of digital transformation and to expand online learning offerings in English. And we have the total freedom to really test the limits of online learning and to create a platform for bold and even risky EdTech experiments packed with pedagogical design. Our focus areas are, first of all, to bring emerging technologies such as AI and XR into courses, and to connect new EdTech startup solutions with the needs from the faculties. And finally, to develop new learning formats such as VR games.
So, in order to create an engaging learning experience, we apply a learner-centered pedagogical and co-design approach. In doing so, we make sure that our development is based on the latest research, both disciplinary and pedagogical, so that we apply appropriate pedagogical principles. And we try to keep learner at the center of the design processes. So in order to have students' perspectives and contribution, we are always having some students in our team. And we always try to get all the stakeholders, meaning teachers, course designers, and most importantly, students involved in our co-designing processes and piloting our experiments. So this is all to better facilitate the interaction among learners, teachers, and content. In collaboration with the faculties, we are developing a range of online learning formats. So we are going to mention a few of them here. The latest one was a MOOC on Finnish education that we developed with the Faculty of Education Sciences, and we helped with the learning design to create an engaging learning environment, the platform, and integrating the simulation to provide an opportunity for learners to practice being a Finnish teacher.
Another course project was Sustainable Health course with the Faculty of Pharmacy. And because of our experimental video production, we now have the very first holographic professor at the University of Helsinki. And one of our co-design projects is the VR learning adventure for learning sustainability competencies by using the potential of virtual reality and AI. And this allows us to make impossible possible, meaning we can make big things small and let the students discuss with animals. This was their wish.
So interaction and engagement as the core of our design approach, as also emphasized in today's keynote. So in our VR sustainability adventure, we are now developing a learning environment to give the possibility to the learners through they can be more active and through exploration, so they can learn in adventurous and serendipitous ways. So our serendipitous approach means that while exploring, learners might be encountered with the opportunities to discover kind of connections and a relationship among phenomena.
For further information, comments, collaboration, anything, you can follow our blog. We'll tell about our experiments more there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Catching on. Well done. Okay. Oh. Yep. Yep. Perfect. Okay. I won't get you to do anything physical, more just mental. We won't go hand or three car cuig, we'll go cuig car and we'll walk down. Are we ready, everybody? Yeah. Cuig, car, three, do, a hain, Gasta.
Okay, this is actually so much fun. It's my first Gasta talk, so I hope I get it done in the time. But actually, the fun bit is the bit I want to bring into the talk, and that's, I think, what I'm trying to communicate in the 3 case studies that I'm going to show you today, that actually, when you're playing, you are actually learning in a sort of an effortless way. And so when we talk about playgrounds for learning physics, that's a really nice place to try and take on an abstract topic, and you're actually embodying the learning of the physics. The same with Minecraft. We know our users, our students, our audience are really into that. So if we bring them to the context we know they enjoy to play, we can then bring learning along with that. And the second case study is a collaboration with a university in Africa that we tested soil. So I'm going to go through some of these with you. And so the first one here is you'll see all of these kids from ages 7 to 10. And what we wanted to do with them was take quite abstract concepts. Even ourselves, we were sitting down going, oh, my head is hurting when I'm thinking about this, which was to show that if students are on the same length of a swing, they will have the same number of swings. And that in your head, you're going, no, no, no. And what they actually learned is by looking at the data we collected, they were all wearing these little microbits, which are mini computers. They were able to see these visuals and actually count the number of swings. And even though some people were going much higher and had a greater amplitude, we could then teach them a concept which is quite abstract in a physics book by relating it to something that we know they enjoy. We collected the data also. We did a treasure hunt. We hid a microbit, and then they had to go find it. And suddenly they learned about their favorite thing, which is the mobile phone, which uses radio frequency, because it needed a sender and receiver, and we were able to make it get louder as they got closer to it. And again, we showed them the data, and they were taking abstract concepts and learning in an effortless way. This particular one here was motivated by my PhD student who's actually talking in a parallel session, so I can't actually see what she's up to, but she's from Botswana. And what we did is we took the microbits and she went back to Botswana with those, and we collected soil moisture in Ireland, and then they collected the soil moisture content in Botswana. And by having a meaningful conversation about the context that you belong to, you're learning science, you're learning data, and you're learning analysis in a way that would be an awful lot more difficult. Now, the student here actually wanted to thank everyone for sharing the technology. What we did is we brought along these agricultural kits. They're low code, and what we're hoping to do is create an open source data warehouse where we can share this data back and make it useful and meaningful, especially to students who come from all around the world and join us each year. That's my PhD student here, Auntie, and she also went and ran a workshop in South Africa with the kits as well. Okay, so we'll just go past this particular one here. So the other case study I just briefly want to talk to you about is Minecraft. So one of our students during COVID took the plans of ATU Galway and he designed the whole university campus to scale. And so, yeah, I know, I was like, please just study. But actually, it's created a very meaningful and amazing resource. What it does is for students who have disabilities, they can come and check out where the elevators are. They can explore the whole university before they make it to the campus. We can also get them to, they can come find me. I'll be here in a second in a virtual form where they can learn about the module before they come. If anyone has used Minecraft Education, and I missed the talk that was on this, which was one of the kind of nominated papers, you'll know there's all these subject kits that you can learn all of these other subject areas like science, you can learn how a bee works, and you can learn an hour of coding, you can learn Python, all in an environment that we know engages them. There's also the average age is 24. We think Minecraft is for children. The average age is 24. And there's no gender bias. Boys and girls equally like this. So if we bring the learning to where they're at, we can then seamlessly integrate some of the effort, and they may learn along the way despite not wanting to. So where we're at the moment is we're very passionate about learning, and we're looking at learning analytics, we're looking at NLP for sentiment analysis. This is the fun side of it, and why I thought I'd bring something like this to this forum is because we would love to talk to people who would like to work with us in this space and collaborate with us in this space. We'd love to have an open source virtual global academy for people who want to, and it has to be student-led, it has to be partnerships, genuine partnerships with the students, and we feel if we get that right, we will engage learners in a way that we don't have to keep asking, how do we engage learners? Okay, thank you very much.
Very impressive. All good. Now, like a good educator, I've been attempting to scaffold your learning now. So we're going to combine, we're going to count down from cooey, but we're also going to go up and down. We're going to go up on the cooey, Donna.
Okay, just a second, hold on. So this is not ours. But we didn't bring any PowerPoint present. We're sorry. We couldn't multitask and talk and follow along in a PowerPoint at the same time.
No problem. You still get 5 minutes.
Okay.
So don't look for any special consideration. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Equally horrible to everybody.
Absolutely.
So very fair. Now, if this lot can get it, because I've thrown them a bit of a complex problem, but I think they may be able to do it, except on it. Okay? So we're going cooey down, but we're going up on the cooey. A lot going on there. I think I could have used your I think your kids would have been far better than this lot here. Yeah. Okay, you ready? Cooey. Car. 3. Do. Hey. Gasta. Done very well.
Hi, so we're going to be talking today about exploring the intersection between scholarship of teaching and learning, digital education, and students as partners, specifically strategies for engaging and empowering students. My name is Carla Walski. I'm from Lethbridge College, which is in Alberta, Canada.
I'm Melanie Hamilton, and I'm from the University of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon, Canada. So we're going to talk a little bit about SOTL to begin with. So the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning is an approach that emphasizes the systematic study of teaching and learning in higher education. It involves the use of research methods such as surveys, interviews, and case studies to investigate and improve teaching practices and student learning outcomes. The goal of SOTL is to promote evidence-based teaching, which is informed by research and the literature on not only how students learn, but how we teach in the classroom. SOTL aims to share and disseminate all of those practices and findings of this research into the wider academic community in order to improve those practices and student learning outcomes of cross-education. It is an international movement that is focused on contributing to the quality of teaching and learning that is accessible to all disciplines and most welcomes intra and interdisciplinary inquiries. And it also welcomes researchers, educators, and students from all backgrounds, regardless of theoretical positions.
So there are 3 ways that students can come involved in SOTL exploration. So the first is students as our research participants. This is a great way to introduce students who are not familiar with research or SOTL into our world there of SOTL research and what that all entails. And this provides a platform for students to gain knowledge, provide feedback, and really afford students agency in shaping their learning experience. Students can then be our research assistants or our data collectors, in essence, really kind of collaborators on our SOTL projects. And this can occur at an undergraduate or a graduate level. And students can be involved also with dissemination of findings such as co-authoring papers, presenting at conferences, which further, of course, develops their employable skills. Thirdly, students can be our research partners or co-investigators, with the best possible scenario being the student is leading that with their own ideas, and that we as faculty are really just providing that mentorship and also assisting the students through that whole research process, but as independent as possible. One of the most important aspects of our students as partners in SOTA research is really giving that voice, of course, to multiple perspectives on teaching and learning practices, and really honoring the diversity of the unique student experience.
So in light of the complex and ever-changing landscapes of higher education, we are proposing a call to action to undertake research on digital education pedagogical approaches such as gamification, remote and online learning, artificial intelligence, including Gen AI, as well as assessment and evaluation of student learning. By engaging in these diverse research projects at the micro level, which is looking at your own classroom teaching, the meso level, which looks at program and curriculum, the macro level, which is institutional research influencing institutional policies, and the mega level, which is our national and international partnerships, we can collectively ensure the success of students and promote the effectiveness, appropriateness, accessibility, and inclusivity of digital education for all learners. The University of Saskatchewan SOTL Centre offers the first accredited graduate and doctoral programs in SOTL, and these programs are delivered asynchronously, providing students with a unique opportunity to develop their own research portfolios that have the potential to shape the future of digital education pedagogies in higher education.
So to show that we truly believe in the students as partners, although Melanie and I are research partners, I am also here in the capacity of a student within her certificate of the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning program at the University of Saskatchewan. So really partnering with my instructor, Melanie, for a SOTL project that I'm implementing at my own institution, which is an example, of course, of SOTL at the mega level. If you, of course, have any questions, happy to discuss this further after the Gasta presentations.
Thank you.
And as I've said before, yeah, I mean, if you're presenting here, if you're on Twitter, put in hashtag Gasta006, put in your contact details and anything else there. So as I said, it is the idea of giving a shout out. Now, Paul, I've been waiting for this all day. Now, James, I want you to know that this man has thrown you in under the bus. I know. Yeah. He dared. Was drink taken, I think?
I think it was.
There was drink taken.
I think it was.
Will I be nice to him or not? It's up to you.
Be mean.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. How much time will we give them? 4 minutes?
4 minutes.
2 minutes.
It's a micro Gasta. Oh my God.
Can you do it in 4?
I mean, we'd have to talk quite quickly, but I'd be willing to try the challenge.
Challenge accepted. Mr. Timekeeper, 4 minutes.
Oh, God.
Has this happened at any of your other
talks? I tell you though, this word will get out. If you meet the Gasta Master tonight before, don't say anything to him unless it's, do you want another pint?
Well, in fairness to Paul, I introduced you to him. I sought you up, so it wasn't that he met you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, we should only count to 4 now.
You think so? So you get 4 minutes and we count to 4.
Okay.
The mob have spoken. Are we ready? A hain, a doe, a tree, a car, Gasta.
Hello and welcome to our talk on supporting sustainability in online distance learning. It's our journey to connect colleagues with non-tokenistic actions. I'm James Openshaw. I'm a learning designer at the Open University UK in the micro-credentials team.
And I'm Paul Astles, a learning designer at the OU UK in the STEM faculty.
So Paul and I are part of a small team of learning designers at the Open University, and we've been working to develop support for colleagues to help them embed sustainability in the course design process in a meaningful and non-tokenistic way. And this talk will explain our journey so far. So bringing information together. So we started by gathering together a range of resources on the topic of sustainability in education, and we put it onto a Miro board that we use this here to bring it together. And this helped us map connections and commonalities between the resources we gathered. And it soon became apparent that in order to share these resources in an accessible manner, we needed to refine the information in an easy-to-digest format. And so we came up with some resources. This is one of the first resources we came up with. And this is a interactive infographic is a honeycomb of connected resources grouped by themes such as the role of HE in a sustainable future and the pedagogical approaches and teaching methods. And the purpose of this is to act as a springboard for others to explore areas of interest. And you can access a copy of this as a PDF by scanning the QR code on a poster that we've created and are displaying in the poster hall. So,
you might have to speed up, James.
Oh, quickly. So how have we been sharing information? So one method has been through Twitter, Yammer for our internal OU community, Twitter, obviously, for more wider. We've also been sharing our resources at conferences. We mentioned a poster and the talks that we're doing. And we're also going to be delivering a workshop at the OAK conference in September to showcase some practical applications. And lastly, we've entered our work for the Green Gown Awards and the Alt Awards, and it's helped us articulate the impact and the benefits of our approaches. Paul.
Thank you. So in our other talk at this year's conference, we showed some prompts that might help you to facilitate conversations about sustainability. But we wanted to use what little time I have left to show you our resources. So if you wanted to access our resources, you can scan that QR code. It's also on our poster in the poster wall. And this is one of the resources that you will get by accessing that. So it is a resource that highlights to its audience what is freely available on OpenLearn. The information on OpenLearn is split into three categories: explore, empower, and do. And this page is accessible via the QR code, which is on the resource itself. And there's also a hyperlink on the PDF version, which you can access through our QR code. It might be that you're trying to connect with some existing resources as part of the learning experience, and if you explore those OpenLearn pages, you will find a range of different information. So 2 of those are on the screen right now, and it's possible to connect with and use open access content on OpenLearn to enrich the learning experiences as appropriate. Our top 3 takeaways from our work that's been presented at Eden so far is what you see on screen. Number 1, focus on identifying non-tokenistic actions that can meaningfully support change, knowledge building, or skills development. Number 2, create opportunities for students to input into the resource design because their ideas, comments, and critiques are invaluable. And 3, recognize that everyone's journey towards taking meaningful non-tokenistic action to embed sustainability will be different. Some slides from our submission, some references from our submission, and thank you, Eden. Thank you online and in the room.
I mean, that's good.
Great sport. Well done. Well done. But no, as I said, hashtag Gasta006. Please reach out, share your contact details. That's the whole idea. It is a show. I don't say the best to last. I don't know what we call this.
Is it 4 minutes again?
No.
3. She was counting for 3.
No.
I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah. I don't know how I do this. Okay, good. Ah.
You ready?
No.
Future is bullshit. Typical Donna. Okay. We'll do our Icelandic clap again. You ready? Hands up. Now this is the last Gasta. I'll be rock it out. Hey! 2, 3, 4, 3, Gasta!
Hello, I am Donna Lonklow. I am here from Munster Technological University by way of North Carolina. I want to talk to you about narrative folklore. We talk about 3 very broad genres. Folk tales are fiction told as fiction, legends are fiction told as true, and myths are told to communicate sacred truths. What all of these have in common is the notion of truth is embedded in them. Each of these is also having a sense of the roles of tellers and audiences, and the suspension of disbelief is key in particular to the definition of legend. Now in the US, we have a very particular subgenre of legends called tall tales. You may or may not be aware there's an awful lot of Irish people who went over to the US at some point, so I think there's more than a bit of blarney involved in the definition of tall tales. Here's Paul Bunyan and his massive ox blue. Suspension of disbelief by the audience of the tale being told is part of the fun. You are agreeing to the fact that people are lying to you. The frame of play is key when you're either a teller or a listener of oral traditions. Listening is participatory, and you are operating within the frame of play. The key to this is consent. I agree that you're going to tell me lies. There's a great Lyle Lovett tune that starts, we were laughing and all telling lies. They agreed to it. They consented to it. What is it worth to consent to that? You get joy, you get laughter, you get conversation. I want to focus just for a moment on the fact that you consent to this. Let's sit with the idea that futures should be things that we consent to, that we create, and not that are handed to us by people trying to sell us things. Let's define bullshit. Persuasive without regard for the truth. That's Frankfurt. Bullshit jobs are tasks without regard for what matters. ChatGPT and other machine learning large language model tools are bullshit generators. They neither have regard for the truth or regard for worth. They're not minds. They're not capable of engaging in the relationships required for constructing and recognizing the frame of play. So we're handed these bullshit fears. Students will cheat. Robots will take our jobs. We need to give venture capitalists our money so that they can build ethical AI. We want to focus instead of these bullshit fears on things like process, not product. Recognize that the reason people don't have the jobs that they want to do is because the capitalists don't want to pay them for the jobs that they want to do. Recognize that bullshit futures that venture capitalists want to peddle justifies the harm that they're doing in the present. If people use ML tools for the work they have to do, this is evidence that they're surrounded by tasks without merit, and this is how they're coping. It might be evidence that they think that some non-bullshit things, like professional development or social justice, are bullshit. And so we need to pay attention when people mistake worthwhile and necessary service work for bullshit. Who says what is bullshit? Calling things bullshit provides evidence of what we value and who we don't, and who we value and who we don't. Venture capitalists, especially those who call machine learning tools AI, spin Heinleinian fever dreams of a future to sell their products. That vision has no regard for what's happening in the present. That future has no respect for the worth of the present, for the agency of the people who are creating the future, and certainly doesn't respect anybody in the future who might not be a wealthy white man. Their actions now are happening outside of any frame of consent. So the rhetorical churn around machine learning of the future is bad bullshit. Let's think about who we want to bring along into the future, not just who we're told will be there, AI, robots, white billionaires, but who's in the present and how the communities that surround us in the present need to see themselves as having a future and be seen as deserving of a future by those with the power to facilitate it. I want to take back bullshit, or at least remind us that with consent and the lodestones of what is true and what matters, we can do better than the bullshit futures that venture capitalists want to sell us. Go to market.
You were never going to give me that pleasure, Okay, can we get everybody down here for their badges?
Gastateers to the front.
This is really important. As I said, you came in here as presenters,
Thanks,
you leave
well
here as gastateers. And it's not easy coming down here.
Gastateers.
Cheers.
There's a prize giving over there, yeah.
Okay, well, so hang on. Get coasters as well.
You should get two.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where these with pride.
Special inaugural 4-minute Gasta presentation.
Exactly. Micro Gasta.
I said, I've been gasted.
I've been ghosted. Tom, going up that way? Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm on her blind side.
Yeah, literally on my blind side. And, highly appropriate. And as I said, I always give acknowledgement to Brian Mathers for his wonderful art design.
Congratulations. Well done. You survived it. Yeah, will we get an elf photo with the hashtag? Yeah, Ken, will you knock out a photo there for us? Can you fit there? Or do you want to go the other side, where there's less chairs? No.
Gasta. A few people are looking out and I'll be throwing out the challenge to you, Mel. What?
She's asleep. Oh. He was.
Round of applause.
I think he was challenging you. Challenge accepted. So, folks, that's the Gasta session over. Thanks very much to everyone, and well done to the Gastateers. In particular, big thanks to Dr. Tom Farrelly for being an excellent Gasta master. 2 sessions in a row. Fantastic. Thanks, Tom. We have coffee break now and come back at 4:20 for the fishbowl.